This is the Good Pod Guide, where I, Lauren Windle, listener of a million podcasts, let you know what to spend your commute listening to. Think of me as the Simon Cowell of podcasts, or at the very least, the Paula Abdul. I have got to confess a bit of a girl crush here. I am a big fan of the host of today's podcast. I've actually got to confess also, so many confessions straight out the gate. There's a bit of a conflict of interest here because Persia Lawson is also my mate. And Persia is the host of Love Is Coming. I wasn't going to review it at first because I thought I know her, so that's not fair. But do you know what? Who bloody cares? This is a great podcast. And it's not like this is some sort of court of law. I'm not the queen. I don't have to be impartial. This whole podcast is so subjective. I'm sure there's loads of stuff I've said that you don't agree with. So with that in mind, I want to review this. I think it's a great podcast. And, I'm going to. So Love Is Coming. Persia Lawson is the host of this. It's a one-woman podcast, although she does get in guests who she interviews. She is an author. She wrote a book called The Inner Fix, which is my most ordered book on Amazon. I've actually ordered it 6 times because I keep buying it for friends. And just to prove I'm not full of shit, there you go. That is the book cover in the camera. How beautiful is that? She wrote it with Joanne Bradford, who is a wonderful advocate for sobriety, which is nice. And as I flick through, I can see that I've underlined loads and made notes, which will probably be really cringy for me to read back later. So isn't that fun? Just leaving this sort of treasure trail of past me in various books and notebooks for me to enjoy now. Persia's author of that book. She's also got another book coming out, which may well be published by the time we release this podcast. So check that out if you want to hear more from her. She's also a TEDx speaker, but most importantly, for this podcast, she is a highly successful love coach. Persia is brutally honest about her own love life. She is a self-confessed serial cheat and a love addict who has now worked through that, which was in her past, and is in a committed, loving relationship with a soon-to-be husband. And she is in a far better place of emotional stability and relationship stability. And it's from that place of experience of getting it wrong that she speaks into so many different issues around love and dating and finding the perfect partner. And this podcast is specifically for women who struggle to attain or sustain a relationship. The titles that she gives the episodes are pretty punchy. How about this one? She teaches you how to make sure your ex will rue the day he left you. Or another one is how to know he's not the one. Or one that I particularly liked, how to be adored by a guy. Do I need this podcast? I'm not going to lie. My mum would tell you I did. I think I stand to benefit from a few tips from it, even though I've written a dating book, as I've said before, or as my brother-in-law tells me, just because you write the manual doesn't mean you know how to drive the car. So there was definitely something for me here. Some of the tips I got: not abandoning your desires to fit in with the person you're dating. And that kind of felt a little bit obvious, like, Instagram tells you be yourself, be your true self, blah, blah, blah. But actually, the examples she gave of people doing this is like, oh my gosh, it's so, so true. She said that when you're on a date, often, like if the person you're with is like, oh yeah, I'm just looking for something casual, will be like, oh yeah, me too. Because you almost feel like embarrassed if you say what you're looking for is a long-term relationship or commitment or a marriage or something like that. And you feel like you'll scare that person away. And she's just like, that's ridiculous. You want to find someone who wants what you want. And it doesn't, people are attracted to someone who knows what they want and says what they want. And I think actually some of us need to hear that. So that was pretty good. If you listen to this, you will be unashamedly, unapologetically encouraged to love yourself. It's got such a playful vibe, and the music is all sort of 70s. And even though it's serious subject matter, because it is serious, dating, love, all of that stuff, she deals with it in such a not serious way that it feels like it's a really good balance, like it's light and easy to listen to. It's good fun. It is confronting. You will be confronted about some of your behaviors and the way that you've been thinking and challenged on things. But if you're concerned about your love life and in need of a bit of a empowering confidence boost plus some very practical tips, I think this is for you. In the next episode, I talk you through my favourite kids' books and review comedy/history podcast, You're Dead to Me. More info is available in the show notes, and if you've enjoyed what you've heard, like, subscribe, and leave a positive review. We really appreciate it.